All right, everybody. This is a breaking news situation. It's been all over the internet throughout the early evening into the night. I don't normally go this late, but because of the situation, thank you, everybody. Welcome to the Information Man Show. Because of the situation, I thought that I would just do this video, no matter who's in the chat room. And anyone that's here, appreciate you being here. Normally I go, live on Sundays, sometimes Saturdays at more normal hours. I'm doing this because it's time sensitive, and tomorrow I won't have any time to do this. This is the Father's Day weekend. I've got a few things to do tomorrow, but I want to get into this because they just broke out with Karmelo Anthony footage of the stabbing, and I'm going to get back to that in just a moment. And that's some of the footage right there. But what I want to do is I want to put this young man back up there. I'm going to get back to that footage. I have not only the footage, which is a grainy footage. I got to give everybody a warning. It is a grainy footage. But I also have the arrest cam when he was arrested for this situation. It's a very unfortunate situation. The young man was 17 years old when this took place. He's now about 18, 19, looking at 35. Well, he got sentenced to 35 years with a minimum mandatory minimum of 17 years would mean he'll be about 37 years old when he's able to get out of prison, or at least be able to parole. Now, there's a lot of thoughts that people have about this case. Those that believe that, hey, he was railroaded, that the courts were set up against him, that there was some funny business going on in the court. There was a debate about the footage. Some people claim that they signed up to see footage. I believe this footage that I'm about to show you, and they said that it was a 4K image. Yet, when they released this footage, because Judge Roach, who I don't really trust, said that he wanted to be transparent. My question is, if there is a 4K video, why didn't they show that video? Then there were people that said that he was being jumped on, ganged up on. And from what I've seen of this footage, it's very hard to figure out exactly who is who. But they do point an arrow saying, hey, Karmelo Anthony is there talking to someone that he knew. He walks under the tent. And you can clearly tell that it was raining that day, which played into the reality of him sitting under the tent because he also knew someone there. And then there is footage of Karmelo Anthony running away from the scene, down the bleachers along the side of this facility, this track facility, before he stopped by. He eventually ran from the bleachers and began to walk. And then, of course, the police at that time stopped him. You're going to see that footage tonight before I know it's late, but this is good stuff. And people who are not watching now will watch this on the replay. So let's get to the first video. Here it is. I want to make sure that this is starting from the beginning. I want you to watch it take your time watching it. I'm going to let it play out. I'm not going to stop too much. Let it play, take it in. And then I'll give my commentary, but I want you to pay attention. And because my question again, where in the hell is the 4K video that everybody kept saying that they seen, that they watched, that they went to this county and they signed up to watch it? And everybody's talking about it's 4K, that there was 4K video. I've even said that on my channel because people were putting that out there that claimed that they actually saw the footage in 4K. The question is, if it's 4K, why is it that they didn't release that 4K? Now, you may say, well, it's because they don't want you to see what really happened to Karmelo Anthony. But then they said, well, there was a bunch of guys along with Austin that walked up on him. When I watched the footage, I got to be honest, it's very difficult to be able to see if that was the case. Not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just saying that the footage is not that very much clear. It's very grainy. It's not high definition quality, but here we go anyway. I want y'all to see this and tell me in the comment section what you think about this footage that I'm showing you tonight. There is no sound, everybody. There is no, they didn't have any audio on this, but just watch this as it's playing itself out. Thank you for those of you that are here. I appreciate you so much. Yalpo, what's going on? Peace to you, my brother. Peace to everybody in the chat room. I want y'all to watch this. You'll see an arrow that will point to where Karmelo Anthony is setting. There it is. Karmelo is still talking with peers, not more than one person. I can't wait to show you all the webcam footage, which had audio and was quite, I believe, disturbing. I got to be honest about it. Karmelo still talking with peers. Just want y'all to watch that. Take it all in. Collect your thoughts about it. There will be movement. There will be movement, everybody. Everything is centered around the tent, as we have been told that it all happened under the tent. And I just want y'all to see that right there. And then there it is. Karmelo is still talking with peers before anything starts to happen. This is at the 159 mark, now 201 mark. There's nothing going on to the right. Everything that's happening is in that tent to the left. Keep watching. Thank you, Kitty D. I thank you. The body cam footage dates to 2016, not 2025. Thank you for that. I believe this incident happened sometime, but this is the footage. This is the footage, the grainy footage. You will see Karmelo Anthony when he's running away and when he goes into the arms of that coach that told him, hey, you've changed your life for a long time, young man. You're going to see a little circle. Argument over seating looks to begin here. Watch that arrow. Now there's an argument over the seating right now. And when Karmelo Anthony takes off, you're going to see the little circle around him that represents that it's him. And I will give you the webcam footage that's much close up. Metcalf looks to be going back and forth with Karmelo Anthony. Yeah, those attorneys he had were terrible. They didn't do him any favors. And everybody keeps lying and saying that he had a public defender. No, they were private lawyers. They were not public defenders. But keep watching where the 10 is, because you will see Karmelo Anthony in white. He had a gray hoodie shirt on. He had a gray hoodie on, and you'll see him running out with the white dot around him because there he is. Metcalf looks to continue to challenge Karmelo to leave. Please keep watching and share the video when you have opportunity. Keep watching to that left side. Metcalf then pushes Karmelo. Yep, you can see there's some activity going on. There's Karmelo right there. There he is running right there. Let me slow this down. Boom. Stop right there. Let's move it back. Let's be surgical. I'm moving it back so I can control. Okay. Metcalf then pushes Karmelo. That's the little arrow dot that's right there. That's pointing to the area. Karmelo then strikes back. Karmelo strikes back at this point right here where I have it freeze. Let me push play. Right there. I froze it because I want y'all to see precisely what's happening. In the far left corner up top where it says Karmelo then runs, that's the circle that's circling around his body. He has a gray hoodie on because I saw it on the web footage when he got stopped by the police. This is where he begins to run, and then he'll start walking down this way. Watch, he'll start running towards the right side. Here we go. Right there, that's Karmelo. That's him running down the bleachers, running. He falls a little bit, and he's running. He's booking pretty fast right there. And then right here is where he starts to slow down a little. Now he's starting to walk. Now he stops. He goes back over that way. Now he's running. So the truth of the matter is he did run. But then he would stop. See, he would stop, start walking, and then he would start running. See, there he is with the white. There he is. That's when I think he runs into the police right here. And then people are running around. There he is right there. That's when he goes into the arms of the coach. He's now walking. I talked about this on one of my videos. This was from the court transcripts where a coach embraced him and said, you know, your life is going to change. Karmelo is now with that coach. And now he's walking away. That's Karmelo Anthony on the track. Now he goes back wearing a gray colored hoodie. There he is with the coach. Now let me show you the other footage. This is very important. Here comes the other footage. I had to break this up into two. Here we go. Once again, Karmelo is with the coach. This is where, let me correct something. This is where I think the coach is embracing him. And this is from the court transcripts that I'm telling you right now. This is not something that I'm making up. This came from the court transcripts because that's where I got the information from. Right here, where you see the little dot, according to the court transcripts, is where the coach said, as I had said before, Karmelo, you have changed your life forever. And Karmelo, he said that Karmelo was crying and said that Austin is not dead. Karmelo didn't believe at that point in time that Austin was dead. He didn't think that the gravity of what happened or what he did would lead to Austin no longer being here. He felt that he was defending himself. And you're going to hear an emotional outcry when I show you the police body cam of Karmelo Anthony saying he was crying, that he touched me, that he was messing with me. So that's what's happening right here between the coach when the coach is telling him you've changed your life. And Karmelo does not really gravitate to the understanding that he took the life of Austin. One of the things that bothers me about this whole situation as it relates to Karmelo Anthony and the whole situation is that people are forgetting that these were kids. Karmelo Anthony was 18, 17 years old. These are adolescents. These are juveniles. Their brains are not fully developed, which means they sometimes don't have good understanding about the consequences of the action. Even though we raise kids to know right from wrong, we're still dealing with kids, but people are talking about this as if these are adults, or if Karmelo Anthony was an adult. He was operating out of his emotions because he felt threatened by Austin. I don't endorse taking life. I don't endorse taking something and stabbing someone. I don't agree with any of that because he wouldn't be looking at the situation that he's looking at. I'm not happy with the fact that the parents got screwed over with bad lawyers. I wish the father would have not taken the advice like he said he did of the people around him. I'm upset that they chose a spokesperson in Dominique Alexander, who I have seen him on a few interviews, and he's very inconsistent with some of the things that he says. I think that people are questioning, what did they do with the money? Now, as much as I don't like Dominique Alexander, he made a claim on a podcast that I watched today earlier that they were renting the house that they were living in. They didn't own the house. The father worked in car finance, so he made pretty, decent money. But the question is, people are questioning, why didn't they use more of that money on defense, on a better defense? Now, if you believe Dominique Alexander, he said that they actually went to black lawyers, and a lot of the black lawyers were saying, well, I want some money. This is what Dominique Alexander said, the guy who's the spokesperson for this family. His claim is that when they tried to get black lawyers, a lot of the black lawyers either didn't want to take the case, or let me quote him correctly, that they were asking for a lot of money for the retainer. He was saying that they were asking for millions of dollars, $500,000, a lot of money that the family didn't have. Now, that's what Dominique Alexander was saying, that some of the black lawyers out there in Texas, people kept saying they didn't want to take the case because they didn't see that the kid had a way to win. No, he said that they didn't take the case because it was about money, the almighty dollar, y'all.
Tell the truth.
Let's get to this next footage with him with the coach, and let's go, because I want to get to that webcam of him being arrested so you can see how disturbing the whole situation was. Here we go. See, he's embracing him. I want y'all to stop. I can actually see that Karmelo Anthony is putting his arms around this coach. It isn't Karmelo Anthony. I don't think it's his actual coach, but I think it's a coach of some sort. And I believe this is the coach that had to come into court. And I guess he gave a testimony about this interaction with Karmelo Anthony. But they failed to give this young man a real defense. They failed to make him human. I have said this over and over again. They did not make Karmelo Anthony human. They did not bring enough character witnesses in. We were told that he saved the life of a white child from drowning at one point in time. Why didn't that family of the child that he saved life come in and at least vouch for his character as it related to that? I just don't understand, everybody. Let me now push play on this footage. And take myself off here. Okay, now they're walking. They're walking. That's Karmelo Anthony in the arms of the coach with the circle around him. That's Karmelo Anthony walking with the coach. So he's in his arms. They're walking. So there was this talk that, Karmelo Anthony ran from the scene. Yes, he did run. Now that's true. He did run down the bleachers, ran down the way, but he did not leave the area altogether. He did go to a coach. Let me move myself from here so y'all can see what's going on right here. Now they're walking back the other way. He's consoling. I would imagine that he's consoling Karmelo Anthony based on what has taken place, based on what he did. Now it looks like someone else is talking to Karmelo Anthony. You can see, I could tell Karmelo Anthony is in distress. You have to be in distress in this situation. He's got a few other people around him. Look at him. He's on the ground right there. I can see that. I don't know. Let me know if y'all can see what I'm seeing by watching that circle dot. Karmelo Anthony has dropped to the ground here. Let me play that back. I don't know how many people have noticed this part of the footage, but I damn sure have. Right here, he's standing up. I want y'all to look very closely. He's got more people around him These must be adults. And watch how he drops to the ground on his knees. He's dropped to the ground on his knees because he probably at that point in time is in shock of what has happened, what he has done. He's emotional. I'm sure he's emotional. They're probably talking to him like, why? And he's on his knees right now, probably crying, very upset. How can you not be upset in a situation like this? Let me push the play button to see how long he stays down there like that. He's still setting on. Now he gets up off the ground. He's standing up. The police, it does not look like the police have gotten there yet to take him into custody. You will see that on the body cam footage I will show you next after this. We're at the 206 mark right now. He's probably telling people he attacked me. I can imagine that Karmelo Anthony is telling people I was attacked. I was defending himself. I can't imagine how much emotions this young man is going through. This is a horrific situation. Someone has lost their life. Austin lost his life. And let me just pause that for a minute. Let me just say this again. It's a shame when any life has been lost. This should have never happened. I wish Karmelo Anthony had nothing in his bag that could be used in this way, even though he was trying to defend himself, as he had stated. He had told the police officers when they got there and got him, and I'm going to play that footage. I wish none of this stuff happened, but I am going to say this. Austin Metcalf, in this video, it does reference that he got rough with Karmelo Anthony first. So that fits with Karmelo Anthony's story. Even though people out there say, hey, you don't stab someone just because they touched you. But I do believe that you keep your hands to yourself because you don't know what people are capable of doing. Another thing that I want to say here about this is that I do believe that you are a byproduct of those that raise you. And I don't care what anybody say. Jeff Metcalf, Austin's father, is a racist. He put all his racism on display. He tries to hide behind the Bible with his racism, but he is a racist. And it makes me wonder just how much of that racism rubbed off on Austin. How much of his racism made him see a black young brother sitting under a tent? Like, to me, him sitting under the tent, how was he harming anybody? As much as we say, hey, Karmelo Anthony is wrong for stabbing him, shouldn't have taken it to that level. At the same time, last time I checked, Texas is a stand your own ground state. And that's what they tell you, that when you stand your own ground, you don't have to retreat. You don't have to back down when a person touches your person. But Metcalf uses the excuse that he had a gag order and that he was mad and frustrated. So he expresses his frustration through racial slurs. How can anybody justify the racial slurs? Just as much as people say we can't justify Karmelo Anthony stabbing him and causing him to lose his life. I can't justify Jeff Metcalf and his racism and the way he carried on and the way he was talking about black people. When he said what he said, he wasn't just talking about Karmelo Anthony and his family. He was talking about black people in general. Now, yes, he's grieving, but where does the racism and the bigotry and the slurs come from within that within his grieving. Let's get back to the footage. This whole thing, I just wish it would have never happened because lives have been ruined, lives have been taken. I still believe that there was something unorthodox, something that was unusual about this case, about the trial, about both the Toby Shook and Bill Whisker being guys, a defense lawyer and a prosecution lawyer who both worked together. Why were they not asked to excuse themselves from this case? I thought that was fishy as all get out. But let's get back to this grainy footage. So he's still there. Now they're taking Karmelo Anthony over. He's walking down this way towards the fence area. This, I think, is the area where the police are now going to. So he's got his hand. Look, he's got his hands up. Look like Karmelo Anthony has put his. I think the police. Yeah, I think that's the police now that have him because his hands are up in the air. That might be the police that have him right there. He stops right there. Yeah, I think this is the. Yeah, this is the police because there was a female police officer, white. Yeah, this is the police. Right there he is. Yeah, they got his hands up. Yeah, this is where I'm going to show you the footage that gives you more closer, intimate details visually of this scene right here in just a moment. Let this police then arrest Karmelo Anthony right there. Let me stop that little part. Let me bring that back right there and play that right there. Right there, it says police arrest Karmelo Anthony. That's the arrow that's pointing to him where you have the circle. Please share the video. We won't be on that much longer once I get to the body cam footage that I want to show you and give you a summary of the situation. This is really, it's really sad, y'all. It is sad. No, he never, thank you. He never left the stadium. Let me do this. He never left the stadium. Let me look at some of the things that you guys are saying. Divine nature. So he did not leave the stadium. No, what happened is he ran down the stairs, which you'll see on this footage if you replay what I just showed. He ran down the let me correct what I said. He ran down the bleachers. And he ran along this side that you see right here. And so when he ran down the bleachers and then he was running down the side after he came off of the bleachers, he ran for a moment and then he slowed down. Then he turned himself back around and then that's when he walked over towards a coach, which was in the trial. That coach, I think he was the football coach for Heritage or whatever they call it, who told him that he had changed his life, and he said that Karmelo was crying because he did not believe that he had took the life of Austin. That tells you that this whole thing happened so fast that Karmelo Anthony probably doesn't realize what had happened because it happened so fast. So no, he did not leave the stadium altogether, as people were saying. He never got kicked out of school for having a knife prior to all of this. That was a lie that was put out there too. Why? Well, why would he just sit there? They they initiated the confrontation with. Yes, they did initiate the confrontation with him. They did. Callaway says, salute information, man. Thank you, everybody. Jordan Neely did not touch anybody, but they said that Daniel Penny was they said that Daniel Penny was a hero. You're absolutely right, Yalpo. We've got plenty of cases of people who claim they were saving someone and they got away with it. Daniel Penny took the life of Jordan Neely. He took his life because Jordan Neely didn't touch anybody. Even though he was having some mental breakdowns, he didn't touch anybody on that train. But yet And you know, Yalpo, that there's two different justice systems. There's one for white folks, there's one for black folks. And we don't get the benefit of the doubt, and we damn sure don't get the justice that comes with it, if there is any for us. A lot of times there's zero for us. Let's continue with the footage. Let's go. So right behind the football goalpost is Karmelo Anthony with the circle around. Look at the goalpost, top to the right of the goalpost. That's where Karmelo Anthony is, while the police are now doing what they normally do. One of the problems I have with what the police did here is that they never read him his rights. He's 17 years old. I think the Defiant lawyer, who I like to watch, said that's another mistake that they made. And why didn't the defense team bring that up in this trial, that he was never given his Miranda rights to remain silent? And on the footage that I'm going to show you from their body, now they're walking him, I guess, to the police squad car. On the body footage that I'm going to show you, they never read him his Miranda rights. I find that weird. So now they're walking him out of the stadium facility towards what? The squad car. And I've got squad car footage. Now we're going to show you this. I want to thank everybody for being here.
Tell the truth.
Thank you for being here, everybody. I appreciate that. I got more. Don't you go anywhere, because I got two pieces of footage. They're very short, and then I'm going to end the video because I know it's late and people are tired, and I've got a lot to do tomorrow myself. But I had to do this because I wouldn't have time to do it tomorrow. It's the Father's Day weekend. I'll be spending a little time with the young one tomorrow. And so I need to do this so that people can, look at it, give it views, share it, whatever you want to do. I wanted you to share this in all your social media. I want to say this to everybody out there. Thank you for watching tonight, right? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, right? Make sure you share this video on all your social media with friends, family, people that would be interested in this situation and what's taking place. You can find me on other social medias like TikTok. You can find me on social medias like Instagram at Information Man Show. You can find me on Threads at Information Man Show, Facebook at Information Man Show, and X at Information Man Show. Just want to let y'all know that this whole situation is crazy. Wait until you see what you're about to see right now. We got to tell the truth. And this whole situation is terrible, everybody. But now let me let you see the footage. This is the one that I think is an eye opener. And here we go.
If somebody is shooting the victim, then they'll be over there.
Under a memorial pen.
Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443.
He tells him not to reach for anything. There's Karmelo Anthony. Did not tell you all that he was wearing a gray hoodie. I knew what I was talking about.
Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right. Any weapons on you?
This is Cortez. This is one of the officers in this case. This is one of the officers who testified that Karmelo Anthony did not violate any Texas law by having the knife because it wasn't a blade that was past the allowed length. But he did not have permission by the school. He had it on school grounds. So therefore, he should never have had it on school grounds according to school policy. I just wanted to say that, but this is the officer who was in the court case that the defense team called up for testifying based on whether he had the right to have the knife at all. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's Karmelo Anthony's hands. Got his hands up.
Help me, y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me. Come over here. I'm gonna put your handcuffs for now, okay? Buddy?
Fear of God he has on the back of his shirt. This is a shame. They're putting him in handcuffs, everybody.
Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now, detained.
Everyone else can slow down. Suspects detained in handcuffs.
Hold on. You can open up the channel.
That's Karmelo Anthony.
Clear to come in.
Boom. So they've got their hands on him. He's he's got blue pants on, maybe blue sweatpants because he ran track. He was supposed to be there as an alternate. There were people that were saying that he had no business at this track meet. They're wrong because he was an alternate that day. So he had every right to be there in the facility because he was competing as an alternate in the track meet. And it was rain that day that contribute to him getting under that tent. Here he is again. Watch.
Have him come to the north.
There's Karmelo Anthony, the back of him, with the gray hoodie.
And then you come to the victim from there.
Received.
This is the alleged suspect. All right, okay. We'll figure that out.
Okay, everybody, you know the drill. They're checking his pants and all this sort of stuff, seeing if he's got some type of weapon on him. You know, well, obviously he had a knife. So they're checking to see if he's got anything else. And let's go.
So nothing on your person at all? Nothing? Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that?
Now, I want to show you something. The police officer, Karmelo Anthony was cooperative. He wasn't fighting them. The officer says, "You mind if I can look in your pocket?" He says, "No problem." He was polite in cooperating with law enforcement. Let's play this back.
So nothing on your person at all? Nothing?
He said, nothing on your person at all. Karmelo Anthony said, "No, sir." Let's go.
Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that?
He says, "You mind if I reach in your pocket?" And Karmelo Anthony says, "No problem." He was cooperative. Let's go. He said, "No, sir." He doesn't have anything else in his pocket. So he was cooperative, y'all.
A little personal there, okay? Just to make sure.
He said, "Yes, sir." He was doing a sweep on him, right, to see whatever he has in his pocket. But you did not see Karmelo Anthony do anything aggressive when the officer was. But you notice the officer, ladies and gentlemen, never read him his Miranda rights. I'm just saying. Let's go. He's taking him away in handcuffs.
Over there, so I'll get medics. Memorial tent over there, guys. All right. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
Did you all hear what Karmelo Anthony said? We're hearing it for the first time in our own voices. Karmelo Anthony was crying, very upset, and made it very clear that Austin Metcalf, put his hands on him. He said that Metcalf put his hands on him. We're going to hear that again. We must hear that again.
Memorial tent over there, guys. All right. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
He says Austin put his hands on him, and he asked him not to put his hands on him. So therefore, his story, when he says that this is why Karmelo Anthony said that it was self-defense. He said he put his hands on me, and Karmelo Anthony said it twice as he was emotional, crying, because this was a hell of a situation that the young man experienced. One, to have someone putting their hands on you, and two, for him to have stabbed him and taken a life, which we don't want any life to be taken away. I wish it would have never happened. I wish that Karmelo never had that knife in his hands. As much as I think that Jeff Metcalf is a stinky racist, I don't want to see his son lose his life. I don't want to see anybody lose their life. And I don't want to see Karmelo Anthony in prison for a good part of his life. I didn't want to see this lead to even Austin Metcalf, no matter what I think about his father. But even though I believe that Metcalf should have kept his hands to himself and not played the bully, it still does not, as I have to be honest, it still does not give one, you still should not be in a situation where you have to take a person's life. I miss the days in which you could fight with your hands and maybe see another day of life, even though, yeah, people can fight with their hands and take someone's life, but his chances of walking away without going to prison and Austin still being alive, if it just was a fight with knuckles, was a lot higher than the threshold of him having a knife that he put into the young man's heart or chest. I still believe that Karmelo Anthony should have gotten manslaughter as the lesser charge. I don't think they should have given him murder, which is, of course, a legal term, murder, which they gave him. The judge, Roach, who I don't like, said that he gave the jury, they had a choice to give him a lesser charge or a higher charge, but they went with the higher charge, which doesn't surprise me because, as I've been saying, that whenever black people commit any type of act, we always get the higher charges than our white counterparts and even our Latino counterparts. And I did a video showing you, and I'm going to put that chart up before I end this show just to reinforce my point. We always get about 65% or higher. Black men always get a higher threshold of doing mandatory minimums, higher sentence and higher minimum time that you have to do before you even get to a parole board. The circumstance here is terrible. I have to admit that. I want to let y'all hear this again because it's painful to hear the young man become emotional.
Okay. All right. The victim's going to be underneath that tent over there, so I'll get medics. Memorial tent over there, guys. All right. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
Karmelo Anthony said he put his hands on me. I told him not to, and he put his hands on me. Very emotional, very distressed. That tells me this had to be very serious. For that young brother to do what he did, this had to be a lot worse than what we really know. And that footage that they put out to make it seem like they're being transparent, that's horrible footage. You can hardly see what was going on other than the fact that you could see Karmelo Anthony running down the bleachers and there was something going on under that tent because you saw a lot of movement, but you couldn't see everything clear. I'm going to say again, everybody keeps getting on people's channels. Everybody keeps making these clips, these shorts, claiming that they saw the footage in 4K. And I want to know, if there was 4K video, why are we not seeing 4K video? Is it because, and I want you to put this in the comment section of this video, is it because they're trying to hide the truth? They don't want you to see the truth. Because there are people that are saying that in court, the jury and the people that were in court to witness what was going on in court only were able to see bits and pieces of the grainy footage that we've been watching tonight. Then you've got people who have given interviews that said that they had a chance to see footage and they had to sign in and sign this and sign that, and that they saw a 4K footage. So then why don't they release the 4K footage if there is 4K footage? And that question is if. Is there 4K footage? And then if there is, why can't someone petition Collin County to release the 4K footage? Not just this grainy footage, but the 4K footage if there is 4K footage. I'm saying if, because I haven't seen it. We've got people claiming that they've seen it or that they signed in to see it, but I don't know. Hell, there's a lot of things that I don't know anymore, man. Perfect Blackness, sir. $5. Perfect Blackness. Is anyone catching the video, time, dates, and stamp? That's a good point. Brother, I'll be honest with you. Most of us are taking this footage from other news outlets and what have you, but you make a very good point. A timestamp. Now, I got to be honest with you. Based on what happened in the court transcripts and what I know, what I looked at on this footage, there were parts on this footage that does add up with what was said in court. What's going on, Brother Naps? Naps TV? There are things that add up with what was in the court transcripts. Meaning, yes, he did get embraced by a coach. You could clearly see him embracing someone. The part where he gets on his knees because he's in distress, that was very disturbing to me, very sad. The part where he goes down the bleachers, which they did say he ran down the bleachers, but there were people saying that he ran, what's going on last call? That he ran completely out of the facility. That's not true. He ran down the bleachers. He ran a little bit down the side. Then he started to slow down. Obviously, there were people running behind him, and then he slowed down and he came back. And that's when he ran into a coach. That is true because that coach was used as a defense witness in the transcripts. And I talked about that on one of my videos. So I don't think that this footage that we're looking at is something that's not real. I think that it's because most people have admitted that there was grainy footage shown in court. And remember, before this court case took place, there were members of the media who looked at it too and admitted that they couldn't really see much. It was very grainy. So even though I showed this footage tonight, you really couldn't see the fine details, right? You couldn't see the fine details. Now, let me get back to this part right here. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here in the chat room. Great Pill Podcast. Thank you for being here, my brother. This whole thing is sad. I'm going to say again, it's sad. I don't want to see life. I don't wish anybody to lose their life. But to hear this young man emotionally cry that he tried to protect himself when he told this guy to not put his hands on him, that is why he said he was defending himself. I don't think most people, and even in the footage, they said that when he got there, he was talking and he was socializing with the peers underneath the tent. And there was somebody that he knew who also turned around and lied and tried to act like he didn't know Karmelo Anthony in that court case. Let me play this again so you can hear his cries. Just to let you hear how he was emotionally. We heard about it, but to hear it is one thing.
Guys. All right. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me. What's happening right now? Vic, medics. Memorial tent over there, guys. All right. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
All right, so now I'm going to let the rest of this footage play out because you're going to see them put him in the squad car. And it's a real sad, it's really sad situation. Let's let this whole thing play out right now.
What's happening right now? Victim is over on the north end. They got staff standing to him right now. This is the alleged suspect. Already? No. We searched them. Got nothing on him. I don't know what happened.
423. Trackers have a negative CPR process for what witness. Freezing. That's the wrong thing. Freezing.
There's a squad car he's being brought to. There is Karmelo Anthony. You can see the side of him as they're bringing him to the Frisco, Texas police squad car, or at least one of them.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
This is closer.
Let me do one more little check.
That is Karmelo Anthony, 110%. This whole thing is it's sad. I just wish that this never happened. Austin, I got to be honest. Karmelo Anthony, I wish he never had a whipping. Why? I part of me just says, man, why couldn't they just had a regular little fight? You know, a regular fight with their hands, a regular, wrestle on the ground where they can at least get up and somebody could live, and adults would get up and pull them off of each other. Then people have been saying this too. Why did Austin take matters into his own hands when he was not a teacher? He was not a security guard. He was not an authority. What gave Austin Metcalf the authority to tell Karmelo Anthony to leave? 2, what gave Austin the authority to put his hands on Karmelo? As much as I hate that Karmelo had a knife of some sort and used it, and I wish he wouldn't have not used it went to that level with it, because it's got him in this mess. But the question is, because someone told me that the tent that was up, that Austin is the one that was responsible for putting that school tent up, but he didn't own the damn tent. That was school property. Why didn't Austin go? Just as much as people could say, well, Karmelo Anthony should have went to go talk to a adult and say, hey, this guy is putting his hands on me. I wish he would have done that. It would have been better for him in the end to have done that. But at the same time, why couldn't Austin have gone to a teacher, a coach, and said, hey, we got this guy under our tent. Should he be here? I don't think he should be, right? Why did Austin have to take things into his own hands? And then why did Karmelo Anthony, although he felt that his life, or he was felt threatened, I just wish he would have I wish they just would have had a wrestle on the ground, or, some punching or something. Now, I don't endorse violence, but I'm saying something that would preserve life, that they could both walk away alive, no court case. Karmelo Anthony can go on to college, go on to having a life. Austin, as much as I don't like his father, who's a racist, no doubt about it, he could go on with his damn life. He would be alive. The whole thing is tragic. The whole damn thing is tragic. My God, man.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
This is closer.
They're putting him in the
One
car.
little check of you, okay?
Carmelo Anthony goes inside the squad car. Damn. They're checking his pants again. He's cooperating. He ain't struggling. They're still checking him out. He says his name. He's cooperative, folks. Spelling his name, Karmelo. Melo. Cooperative.
And No, ma'am, I don't think so.
He says, no, ma'am, I don't think so.
Karmelo Anthony, Karmelo.
430, show me out.
Breaking.
Have a seat here real quick, man. Watch your head.
Inside the squad car is Karmelo Anthony.
Well, I'll tell you what, lean this way.
Oh,
You're
man.
not resting on your hands, okay? All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay? All right.
402, I'm on scene.
So the first thing.
I want to move to the other on the other cam with this. Hang on. I want to see a closer view of what he's saying about the blood.
Let's see.
430, show me out.
Breaking.
Have a seat here real quick, man. Watch your head.
Let me see if I can freeze it. He's claiming he's got blood on the hand,
Well,
which I would
lean this
imagine.
way, so you're not resting on your hands, okay? All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay? All right.
402, I'm on scene.
So your first name is Karmelo?
Breaking.
Let's see. Hold on one second. I don't know yet, man. Karmelo. C-A-R-A. K-A-R-M-E-L-O. Karmelo. What's your last name? A-N-T-H.
Oh, man.
10th grade? You go to Emerson?
I wish this never had happened.
Centennial. Okay.
I'm in 12th grade.
12th grade? Okay. No, Centennial. All right, sit.
He's in 12th grade, y'all. Think about where you all were at when you were 12 in the 12th grade and how old you were. This Karmelo Anthony, because of what he did, he is about to, and because of what they convicted him and how they convicted him, and I don't agree with the charge. I think he should have gotten manslaughter. This is disturbing to me. Why is it that there's other people in the state of Texas, that other kids that who committed similar or the same crime, and they all got manslaughter? I'm going to remind you of that in just a moment by showing you the data. He should have gotten manslaughter as the lesser charge because he didn't wake up to premeditate what he did. But yet they let someone in the state of Texas who did premeditate his crime, and he only got 10 years. Let's go.
Type one real quick, bud, all right? Let me run this guy real quick. I haven't talked to.
Let me show you some other footage that I have. Check this out. This gives you a little more insight into how this whole thing went down.
35 years in prison. Anthony's legal team has already filed a notice of appeal. The jury delivered the verdict on June 9th after a tense trial that drew national attention and fueled public reaction, both in person with protests outside the Collin County Courthouse and online. Friday afternoon, 911 calls were also released.
Frisco 911, what is the location of the emergency?
Hi, we're at Kuykendall Stadium. My friend just got stabbed.
Okay, do you know who stabbed him?
We have no clue. He was sitting in our tent, but you need to send an ambulance right now.
They're on the way, okay?
Testimony in the trial detailed the altercation that morning after Metcalf and his twin confronted Anthony for sitting beneath their team's tent. Anthony, who was 17 at the time, stabbed Metcalf in the chest. He claimed in self-defense. Authorities said the teens did not know each other. The only video of the stabbing, grainy stadium surveillance.
See?
Zoomed in, it shows some shoving and movement under the yellow tent where the stabbing took place. It only lasts a few seconds. Then you see Anthony, highlighted in the gray sweatshirt, leave the tent. While
There he
students
is.
try to help Metcalf,
That's the part
Anthony
where
is
he's
seen
running down
taking
the-
off down the bleachers as others try and follow him. Now made public, evidence photos of the Ozark.
Okay, everybody, there it is. This is the knife that we've been hearing about. No speculation. This is the actual knife that Karmelo Anthony had in his bag. This knife in the state of Texas, in terms of its length and size, is not seen as illegal for him to carry on his person. Matter of fact, there are a lot of kids, not to justify, there are a lot of kids in the state of Texas that walk around with knives in their bag. Now, the problem is that he had it on school grounds, and you can only have authorization to be able to have such a tool when you're on school grounds with something like this. So he wasn't supposed to have this. Now, another theory that I've been hearing people pushing is that, well, when people are in track and field, that it's normal for track and field athletes to have these little knives that they can use for their cleats or whatever, right? I don't know if that's why Karmelo Anthony had the knife in his bag, because he runs track and he uses that to do whatever he needs to do with his cleats, tighten something, take stuff out of it, dirt or whatever, or stuff that can get caught up in it. I don't know. That's what I've been hearing people say, that sometimes people in track and field will have these tools like a knife that they can use on their shoes or take, grass out of it. I don't know what the hell. That's just a theory. I'm not saying that that's why he had it, because I don't know. But we do know a life was lost. Karmelo Anthony said he was protecting himself, that he was touched. You heard me play that footage over and over again where he became emotional, that he told Austin to not put his hands on him. And it just did not work out that Austin did put his hands on him. Everybody is questioning the fact that did Karmelo Anthony have the right, because he touched him or pushed him, to then stab him, versus, I don't know. That's what's going on. It's a shame. I hate it. But at the same time, I have to say this. If we're living in the state of Texas, a stand your own ground state, do black people, or do we not have the right to stand our ground if someone is touching us and that creates a situation in which we have fear for our life? Do we have the right to exercise the same things that white people exercise every day? You got this Chug, the builder, that was going around messing with black folks purposely for content. Now, of course, he's in jail, but did you see these same people get irate about Chad the Builder possibly getting bail? Did you see an outcry of people saying, hey, he shouldn't be able to get bail? You even had black people, as much as we jump on Karmelo Anthony for what he did, you had black folks that still was still kicking it with this Chad the Builder. You had black folks that was shaking that man's hand when he was out there doing what he was doing. You had black folks that was laughing with him. You got footage of it. And he shot a black man. Let's get back to this.
Trail multi-tool knife Anthony used in the fatal stabbing. The 3.5-inch blade photographed on the bleachers.
There are the here. Let's move that back.
Half-inch.
This is the bleachers. This is a close-up footage. This is where it all took place. Look on the picture where it has the number 1 in yellow. That's where the knife is that drops below the bleachers right there. Part of the evidence.
Blade photographed on the bleachers. Another photo shows Anthony in handcuffs with what appears to be some blood.
Yes, there is blood on his finger. I think that's what the police officer was talking about when he put him in the squad car. There it is, folks. There is the blood evidence of the circumstance. I wish this would never happen.
Blood on his fingers. During the chaos, a coach takes off his jacket to put pressure on Metcalf's wound. The commotion of people trying to perform CPR on Metcalf heard in this 911 call.
We're doing compressions and giving him mouth to mouth.
Okay.
Come on.
Hey, they're doing CPR on him.
And that coach's bloody jacket was also photographed and put into evidence and shared publicly. The Collin County judge who presided over this trial, Judge John Roach, the one who released all of this evidence today, did release a statement to Fox News. And that statement says, the overwhelming focus on my ruling regarding the media and the courtroom was to protect the process, witnesses, and the jury. Now that the trial is over, it is important to me to provide transparency.
Wait a minute, everybody. So the judge dropped this as a way, as I said before, to be transparent. Now, my question again, is there a 4K video? Because they only showed that grainy footage in the courts. How many of you, by putting, if you put sevens in the chat room, if you're with me on this one point here, when you watch the grainy footage, I played that tonight. You can't hardly see any damn thing. You can't really see in full detail who did what to what. Meaning, so how could Karmelo Anthony, this young man right here, I'm going to put that up in just a moment, the bias. This young man right here, I think this is a cousin, a family member that he's with. How the hell could they convict him of 35 years sentence for grainy ass footage like this? Let's show you this grainy ass footage again. Again, this is grainy. You can't see anything. You can't see the actual act. Now let me correct what I'm saying. I don't want to sound crazy here to anybody. I know they had witnesses in the court who testified to what they witnessed. So even though the footage is grainy, they had people in the court who gave their witness statements and said, this is what happened. We do know there were black people who had a chance to go into the court and said that it was racism going on in the court, that Karmelo Anthony had no defense team. The defense team was horrible, that the kids in the court were laughing and giggling and chuckling, that it appeared as if Jeff Metcalf was making signals and what have you in the courtroom. You have the prosecutor, that being Bill Whisker. You have the defense team lawyer, which being Toby Shook, who should have excused himself. Both should have excused themselves because they both were buddies, because they both had a law firm together. So they had the grainy footage to go on, but then they had the testimony of people, and black people that were in the court said that they could tell that people were changing their stories and lying and what have you. That was their thoughts based on what they witnessed. I'm not going to argue with black folks that were in the court who saw it, because I wasn't in the court. Everybody watching this, you wasn't in the court. So I'm more inclined to listen to people that were in the courtroom more than people who weren't in the courtroom, because we've got a series of people on social media that's been telling us that they saw a 4K footage. And then the question again is, if there is a 4K footage, why wasn't that 4K footage introduced into the court? And why didn't Karmelo Anthony's defense team demand, I say again, demand the 4K footage? And if the courts didn't have a 4K television, why didn't somebody go out and purchase one so that they could make sure they do their due diligence to give this young brother here a fair trial? Why did the damn people in the courtroom, the jury and the witnesses that were in there, say that the footage was grainy, the same footage that we're looking at tonight, that I showed you tonight, this footage right here? Why is it that the court only went with this footage, but not the 4K, if there was a 4K? I say if because I don't know. We know we have some black folks that have said this on social media, but I don't know. I just don't know. This little part right here, let me put this back up here. This little part right here, where I guess they were fighting. I can't see what's going on. But they had the witnesses to back up. And the question is, do you believe the witnesses when you got, again, black folks that were in the court witnessing that what was taking place, who said that a lot of these folks were giggling, laughing, acting like they weren't taking stuff serious and were, in their opinions, changing their stories. I want to show you something. Take a journey with me, everybody, real quick before we end the show tonight. Just real quick. Remember I talked about this before. Casey Allison sentenced to 10 years. He was 18 years old. Baton, Texas. This happened May 2024. It started with an argument. Same thing like Karmelo Anthony. I said this in my video in reference to this that I put out before. An argument in a school bathroom. Stabbed. 18-year-old claimed self-defense. This kid, this white kid up here, claimed self-defense after he premeditatedly had a back and forth rivalry with a kid in school, went in the bathroom and did him in, and it already said that he was going to harm him. Already said he was going to do it. It was premeditated. He planned it. And he gets 10 years. Karmelo Anthony gets 35 years. Then this kid right here, Jose San Miguel, sentenced to only 30 days in jail with 10 years probation, 18 years old, San Antonio, Texas, May 2022, a fight outside of a restaurant near a school. He stabbed an 18-year-old kid and he claimed self-defense, convicted of criminal negligence, homicide, only 30 days with 10 years probation. Casey Allison got criminal negligent homicide, not murder. Karmelo got murder. Then we've got Ricardo, who was sentenced to 15 years at age 17, Fort Worth, Texas, August 2021. These cases didn't happen like a decade ago, y'all. These happened within the decade that we're in. August 2021, another argument. Same thing happened in a Karmelo Anthony situation. An argument at a party. He stabbed an 18-year-old once during a fight, claimed he was scared, convicted of manslaughter, not murder. Then we got the other guy. And these are all non-black individuals. This is all in Texas. This is not in California, New York. This is all in the state of Texas. Now we have Gabriel Ruiz here, if I'm saying it correctly. Ruiz, sentenced to 12 years, age 17, Houston, Texas, January 2020. Once again, an argument between a teen escalated. He stabbed a 16-year-old once in the chest, just like Karmelo Anthony stabbed Austin in the chest, according to reports, right? He stabbed him in the chest, according to reports. Now, getting back to this, he claimed self-defense and was convicted of manslaughter. These are four cases in the state of Texas where young men did what? They engaged in similar crimes. They did a similar crime, but different circumstances in terms of the charge. Karmelo Anthony, same thing. It was a situation in which an argument pursued. He claimed that he said Austin put his hands on him, right? And as a result of Austin putting his hands on him, he said he was defending himself. Right?
Memorial tent over there, guys. All right.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
What's happening right now? Victim is over here in the north end. They got staff standing to him right now. This is
I just want y'all to take that all in. Let me do something before I get out, before I end the show tonight. Let me read some of your statements in the chat room before I end the show tonight. Yalpo says, absolutely no surprise. Divine Nature says, what's going on? News reporters in the courtroom mentioned the various testimonies from the memorial students. Right. They gave testimony because they had to only go on testimony because the footage is so grainy you can't really see exactly who did what at what time. Where is the footage with them walking over to him? They still hiding footage. On this footage that I've shown tonight, I didn't see anything like that in that footage of people walking over a group of guys. I don't know. Like I said, why didn't they release the damn 4K footage if there is 4K footage? And I say if because I don't know. Monkey 68 says, yeah, need Jesus. Y'all need Jesus. No, you need Jesus. You need Jesus. Get the hell out of my chat room. I'm not listening. I'm listening to black people who were in the damn courtroom, who came out and told us what they saw and what they heard. And that they said that it felt very racial in that court and that Judge Roach said that he would not allow any outbursts or any shenanigans in his courtroom, but he allowed those kids that were testifying to giggle, to laugh. He allowed Jeff Metcalf to go in there and give baseball signals to people. He allowed the family members of Jeff Metcalf to cry when you're not supposed to do that. You can't allow people to become emotional in your courtroom because that could sway the jury. So you go jump yourself in a little lake, take yourself somewhere and find Jesus. You find you go find the white man with the blue eyes and blonde hair, sucker. Get your butt out of here. Let me see who else I have here. I'm about to end the show in just a moment. Thank you, everybody, for being here. That monster that admitted to get your butt out of here with your monkey logo. Your monkey, you butt. Did y'all block this sucker out of here? Yeah, y'all got him out of here. Let me see this. Get this sucker out of here. Get this sucker out of here. If he hasn't been hide his butt from my channel. Get your butt out of here. Look, I have admitted tonight that I said 1,000 times over that I wish Karmelo Anthony did not have a knife and did not stab him, that I don't think it was the right thing to do because it has put him in this situation. I would have rather them fight the old-fashioned way with their bare hands, a wrestle, what have you, whatever he needed to do to defend him, because he did have a right to defend himself. And I'm going to say this again. This is why let this be a lesson to everyone. You got to be careful who you put your hands on because you don't know what people are capable of doing. You don't know what they may have in their bag, what they're capable of doing. This is why you don't put your hands on people, because we live in a world in which we don't know what people may do, will do, and what they are capable of doing. You understand what I'm saying? Because anything can happen.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I'm just saying, y'all. Woo! That's all I got tonight. Make sure y'all share the video. I appreciate you all rocking with me this late night. I don't normally do streams this late, but because I wouldn't be able to do this tomorrow, I thought it was appropriate. Thank you for the $2. Let me put you on the screen there. Thank you for the $2. I'm not trying to say that I want to see people going around, stabbing each other. No, I'm not going to endorse that. But I'm still baffled by this whole situation. Perfect Blackness said, have we had our fill of living near with them yet? Yeah, I agree. We gotta wake up as a people. Look, we have to wake up as a people, be on code, operate as if we know we don't have no friends but ourselves. This is, you know why this is also another shame too? Because why? Ask yourself, how did Karmelo Anthony get in this community? Because his family moved from Louisiana, felt that they were going to get a new start, a fresh start. They were going to have a better life. And we have cases where black families move into these white suburbs. The kids go to school in these white suburbs because we think it's going to be a better life for us. And then our kids have to deal with a whole bunch of racism and a whole bunch of nonsense in some of these exclusive communities. And we do this because we feel like we're giving our kids an advantage. We're living in a better neighborhood, or what we think is a better neighborhood, but yet the people in that neighborhood don't necessarily want us in that neighborhood. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that. Clap to everybody.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chats tonight. Let's get on out of here. Divine Nature, thank you. She says Karmelo had, Karmelo had previously shoulder. Yeah, he had a shoulder injury. That's right. I heard about that. He had a shoulder injury. That's definitely legitimate. And I hear where you're coming from with that, my sister. I got to get out of here because I got to get some rest. I got to get up in the morning. I got some things to do with the family. But I appreciate you all. Once again, subscribe to the channel. If you have not subscribed, share the video on all your social media with people that would want to watch this video, with people that you know. Put it in your community tab if you are a content creator. Those of you that'll be watching this on the replay, I really appreciate you watching this on the replay. I appreciate those of you who have subscribed to the channel, and we're going to keep this thing going. I've got some more. I'm going to be pivoting over to some other content that I'm going to be putting out on the channel. I am going to be uploading YouTube shorts. They will be fresh shorts, meaning they will not always be pieces of content like this that I've sliced. I'm going to put up fresh, brand new, vertical style content. Like I did the Michelle Obama one that I just dropped. Check that one out. That's just a fresh short that I created. That wasn't from a live stream I did or an uploaded video. That was just me doing a vertical style video. So I think I'm going to start doing original content that's not always cut from the other content on my shorts and in my TikTok and all over social media and what have you like that. Everybody, my man Yalpo, who's in the chat room, he's got the beautiful Black to Saturday animations that we will be showing over here from time to time. We're going to be doing a large show where we're going to show you the display of all of his beautiful, talented animations that he's written. That he's put together. Let me give you a little taste of some of this right here. Just a little taste of this before I get out of here.
Gone? Where'd it go?
That's Yalpo, who's in the chat room right now, y'all.
Dinosaur sat on it and smashed it.
Yalpo, you got to start putting your website in the chat room, brother, when you're here.
I said a dinosaur sat on it and smashed it!
So you're telling me you're from the future and got here in a time machine that doesn't exist anymore because a dinosaur sat on it and smashed it to smithereens?
That is precisely what happened.
That's an example of Black to Saturday animations. He's got a lot more. That's not the only one. There's a whole variety of different animations that the brother makes that are incredible. With that said, everybody, I got to get ready to get out of here. I appreciate you all. Tell someone that you love them. This is a sad situation. The young man, the family is trying to appeal. He has a new appeal lawyer, but I don't know if the appeal is going to cause him to get his sentence reduced to manslaughter, which, like I said before, I think manslaughter would have been the right. If they were going to charge him with something, it should have been the manslaughter if he was going to be charged, in my humble opinion. Y'all take care. Tell someone you love them. Take care. Peace. Peace.
She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you.
Miss that smile, Lord knows I ain't seen that in a while, but it's your style. So something must be up keeping you down. You a queen that must be heaven sent. Pray my soul, I must repent for not telling you what I meant and how I felt. Honestly, I'm used to throwing wishes in a well. My conscience tells me that I could have helped without fail. Actions speak louder than words, and that's a lesson that I learned all by myself.
Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Feel it, baby, stress is all around us. These high ceilings and I need it, baby. Pressure and make diamonds, I won't steal it, baby. Solid, baby, hurts to see you crying. Know you trying, ain't no lying, baby. When I say I need you, greedy if I have to share you. It was me that all along did you wrong, thinking that I made you beautiful and strong. This toxicity, the death of me, I feel the day you gone. The most beautiful girl I've ever known.
I'll find a way to treat you better. I swear there's no one out there like you. You teach me to be better. My talk is cheap, keep asking what I do. I'll fly you to the moon and hope I'll see you soon. I'll find a way to treat you better.
Tell the truth.
No problem, I'll do it. Let me know, gotta let me know. She my medical, she like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door.